GLITSS webinars. So we start again. So hello everybody, welcome. My name is Stefano Caniple. I'm responsible working group 3, and this is part of the GLITSS webinar series that we are organizing under the GLITSS COST program. GLITSS is an acronym that stands by Globalization, Illicit Trade, Sustainability and Security, and is a cost action that started in 1222 and will last for 4 years. The goal of this cost action is to establish a broad network of scholars and academics and practitioners to study different issues of globalization, illicit trade, according the dimension of sustainability and security. Today, we will discuss two discussants coming from the Riga Technological University, Maris Juruss, and the University of Debrecen, Konstantin Plamadeela. They will talk about market trends of illegal tobacco products and modern alternative tobacco products. We will start with Professor Juruss, and then we'll move to Dr. Plamadeela. Basically, now I will change. I will leave the screen to Professor Juruss, and I will introduce Professor Juruss. He was graduated at Riga Technical University at Faculty of Engineering Economics in 1999. He made research project about the theoretical aspect of improvement of tax system. He worked for Ministry of Finance from 1996 to 2007. He was involved in many European Commission and Council working groups during the Latvian tax legislation harmonization with the EU principles. He was also consultant for the PricewaterhouseCoopers. He worked as tax manager from 2007 to 2012, and he has many knowledge about tax projects, excise duty, custom issues, and others. So he has been involved in many researches about VAT and corporate taxation, and we know that tobacco products is a very sensitive topic for taxation and for exchanging in different European and non-European countries. So I thank you again, Professor Juruss, for having accepted your invitation to present this webinar, and I let you share the screen to start your presentation. As I said, you have 20-25 minutes maximum for your talk. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairman, and welcome, and thank you for inviting to this seminar. Hello, everyone, and really appreciate it being here and share my ideas about some illicit trade, particularly about some issues related with tobacco products, and particularly mainly about regarding some alternative products. And now I will share my screen. Yes, today I'm going to deliver some presentation about some trends regarding some market alternative tobacco products. Thank you for excellent introduction. I would like to add that here in Riga Technical University, there we have some special study program, customs and tax administration, and particularly all issues related with taxes and customs are quite important for us. And moreover, as we involved in different researches, this kind of topics like this, what we are going to discuss today, it's quite important for us. Latestly, we mainly focus some illicit tobacco trade, particularly some aspects of new alternative modern products, which is becoming more popular. Therefore, we are now also trying to have some researches regarding those new products. And today I'm going to tell some kind of tendency, what's going on with those products, particularly also here in Latvia. And instead of some topics, I just put on to forward some hypotheses what we are going to discuss today. First of all, let's discuss some different aspects of regulations which concerns tobacco markets and those also new products. Unfortunately, there's some kind of different regulations from different, let's say, fields, and therefore it makes some kind of confusing, especially if you're talking about taxation, some other regulation. Secondly, there is still not, let's say, a harmonized approach from a whole EU market. Therefore, it's also makes some kind of problems to administrate those products in practice in particular member states, as there is not, let's say, one uniform approach, at least regarding some taxation. Third, of course, those alternative products becoming more popular, and one of the reasons what we also should take account how it impacts the total market. Does it's really to affect the consumption of cigarettes and smoking prevalence? And last one, it's of course taking account those products becoming more popular. We also need to, let's say, to consider how it's impact illicit trade, how it's impacts this kind of legal market of those products. And if we start with some kind of considerations about regulations, there used to be different fields which should be taken account. So first of all, tobacco products or some alternative products, it's not only regulated by tax legislation, but also some other ones. Mainly it's concerned with some health aspects. Therefore, but in practice, we need to, follow all those kind of regulations and some, let's say, law enforcement or some kind of control agencies should take care about all such kind of regulation. And therefore, in time to time, it makes some kind of, let's say, some conflicts between such a kind of regulation, because such one of the regulation provides some kind of aspects, even some restrictions, which is not covered by some other ones. And therefore, of course, if you look to somehow to some control or some state revenue services, some customs agencies should take care about all those aspects. It could lead some confusing. Nevertheless, there used to be such all those kind of international laws we need to pass in national legislation, and in practice we used to combine some several, let's say, directions together in specific regulation of cabinet of ministers and so on. Example, and sometimes it's probably it helps to solve some issues. Example, there is so-called track and trace system which should be applied for let's say, monitoring and circulation of cigarettes. And actually, this kind of regulation is set not by tax legislation, but rather some other ones. By this tobacco convention protocol and some local rules which implement those international requirements regarding some tobacco trade, rather than some kind of requirements set by tax legislation. If you look to some classification aspects due to the fact that those alternative products becoming quite nowadays popular, but still it's not covered by some kind of traditional legislation, like example, tobacco products, which is not covered by excise directive. It's this excise directive covers just the traditional products like cigarettes, cigars, smoking tobacco, and there is no included some new modern alternative products like electronic cigarettes. However, if those products contain some tobacco, let's say, like the example, heated tobacco products, it's interpreted in such way that those heated tobacco is classified under smoking tobacco classification, but it should be probably different treated, because smoking tobacco it's traditional products which is covered by this directive, and they are set it also some kind of specific tax rate, but this heated tobacco is just interpreted that we need to also tax it like similar to smoking tobacco. However, in practice, it's a completely different product. for market, if you look to some business aspects, there used to be some other classification like electronic cigarettes, heated tobacco products, and some other alternative products which becoming also now popular, like nicotine pads. They are like treated like alternative products, and they are classified outside of those traditional products. Therefore, it's makes some conflicts how do we need to apply some taxes in practice, because even we try to to do it, but of course we need to find some kind of let's say some interpretation to do it. And if you look to some classification nowadays, even there is more confusing, because traditional tobacco products, what we used to treat in and have in market, there used to be some products even without some tobacco, or which contain not tobacco but maybe contain just nicotine. Moreover, there used to be nowadays even such a products which probably is nicotine free. It's also it's used to be used the same way as traditional tobacco products. However, it's not absolutely the tobacco at all, and therefore there used to be some kind of again some confusing. Should we also tax with some appropriate excise duty or some other level tax such a products or not? We have made also some literature review. We are mainly focusing to different aspects. Of course, those alternative products, there's still kind of disputes. Do they really to help us to quit smoking, or do they really are less harmful as traditional products? However, it's still under considerations, and we need to consider not only all those health aspects, but how to deal with this market, and how we need to prevent that there is no some kind of tax evasion from those products. If you look to some those new alternative products, which is now popular, actually they are not new at all. It was invented in even last century, but probably in the first stage it was not so popular, maybe, so it was not so attractive. Therefore, there was not, let's say, so problem at all. That becomes because they didn't let's say take this market such amount as it used to be now. There used to be some kind of also, if you look to some health aspects, there used to be also some very interesting case. Now it's from Sweden. By the way, there used to be some products which are forbidden in Europe, even also here in Latvia, but which is allowed in Sweden, like snuff tobacco. It used to be traditional, let's say, decision. Even I'm not able to explain why it's so, because it was treated like snuff is something not good, and therefore was some kind of political decision that it's not allowed to sell or use it in the EU single market. However, Sweden used to have this kind of tradition of snuffs, and that's they keep the rights to allow to this product in the market. Now we can see that in Sweden, comparing with other countries, there is a very low smoking prevalence. I mean, this product helps the Sweden to change this kind of behavior, because a lot of consumers in Sweden, to instead of traditional smoking of cigarettes or some other products, tobacco products, they prefer rather this one. And now it's it's of course it leads to some kind of observations that even some health of habitants of some consumers in Sweden is better than in some other Europe countries, because the main issues which is related with the harmful of tobacco products is the smoking. And if you, instead of smoking, to take some other products and using it differently, it's certainly to at least to reduce some kind of negative effect to some to your health. And there's a lot of such a kind of literature and some research. So that's so-called vaping. It's less harmful as smoking because there used to be some less, let's say, risk impacts to this from these products to health of people. There used to be all time some new researches done by different experts, and they are trying to, let's say, advocate that those alternative products could be at least considered for also from this health aspects. Moreover, if we're talking about some other aspects, not only about health aspects, but rather than about impact to market and as well as impact to some illegal market, there used to be also different researches on how to evaluate how big is this illicit market and so on. One of the, let's say, most popular way how we could estimate the amount of illegal market is so-called, let's say, measurement of excise duty gap. This used to be one of the methods developed by UK revenue services, and where they compare this, let's say, a potential market from different surveys to have some kind of ideas what is the total consumption of tobacco products or some other excise goods, and then they compare with some legal declared consumptions, and that's the way how they establish this kind of gap of unpaid taxes. However, of course, it's illegal markets depend from country to country, and there used to be different aspects which impact this in different countries. In any way, there used to be some kind of there are some kind of researches which, of course, said that of course such kind of products due to the fact that they are taxed with very high taxes, and it gives some kind of impact to some kind of consumption, and so of course some kind of products which where they are illegally put in the market with a lower without paying the taxes, they are more attractive, and that's one of the reasons that the prices of the legal products comparing with illegal is very high, and that's why most of the consumers prefer some illegal because the legal products is price is more higher, of course. If you look to some kind of comparison of excise duty, which directly impacts the price level in a particular market, of course, there used to be some other aspects. However, if you look to more detail at those alternative products, and particularly we did it for Latvia, unfortunately, we could observe that excise duty on heated tobacco products as other alternatives like e-cigarettes, comparing with some at least
we lost Maris for a moment. That's why he comes back. So Maris, if you can hear us, you can quit and then try to join again. You're back. You need to reactivate your microphone. And
sorry, yeah.
Sharing is not your fault. I mean,
yeah, sorry.
Sharing the screen.
Yes, I will continue. Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Yes, continue. I would like to continue with some tax-based analysis. I mean, we used to analyze, if we're talking about some appropriate tax policy, there could be some related different aspects, and one of those, of course, is a tax base. If we compare example with alcohol, there is a good example the alcohol used to be taxed according to the volume of alcohol, and it gives some kind of also appropriate
Fortunately, we lost him again.
yes.
Guys, I
So,
try to
no,
switch
yeah.
off the camera.
Yeah,
Probably.
probably. Yeah, it's a good recommendation. Maybe I switch the camera. It probably will be better as the internet now. Well, yes. So, sorry if I may continue, but I will try to be short. Otherwise, I'm not sure that there'll be some more technical problems. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Let's try to continue. Yes. I started to explain some issues regarding some kind of particular taxation of alternative products that we want to say also possibilities how to compare the tax rate is set it for 1 gram of tobacco products. And if we look to this aspect, then we could find that in Latvia at least the alternative products is overtaxed comparing with cigarettes. I mean, like heat tobacco is twice more the tax is cigarettes. If we go back to alcohol, it's not good because if example for alcohol, the beer used to be less taxed because it's not so maybe harmful as it's strong alcohol. Probably it's also should be evaluated that those alternatives should be not overtaxed comparing with traditional tobacco products. However, consumption grows also in whole Europe, and that's the issues that we need to deal in future. Also, consumption grows in Latvia, particularly there used to be some extremely, months where there is a release of social products very high. However, it's not related with some kind of, consumers that they really started to consume those products. But rather than say there was some changes in national legislation, they changed some restrictions, and when the restrictions when the restrictions is enforced, the traders used to be quite smart and they to release for free circulation before such restrictions, just to finish with the old products, which is not like which is not covered with new restrictions. Like example, they recently to restrict some flavored sauce products and so on, and that means the market is quite flexible. And if we set a new restriction, it's of course will certainly somehow to impact the legal market. Back to Sweden, if we look to Sweden, that we could compare that really the snuffs to help reduce smoking prevalence. The same we can do. We can say also about Latvia. If we compare this, the tendencies, how the alternatives products when they became the market in Latvia, then the tendency shows that it's reduced some consumption of cigarettes, and we think that it's good because the most problem is smoking of cigarettes, and that's really issues that we should to attack how to reduce consumption of traditional products and its alternative products to help it. That probably it's a good solutions. Now about illicit market, illegal market used to be also to monitor and also evaluated by different organizations. One of them was KPMG survey done regular basis, And however, this survey so far covers just some kind of illicit trade of traditional products. They do it on so-called empty pack survey. Unfortunately, such a kind of methods we couldn't apply to e-cigarettes or some probably heated tobacco because there's no empty packs at all, for if you're talking about e-cigarettes, and therefore should be some kind of other alternatives how we could estimate the illicit market. We did it in here in Latvia. Some other researchers from Latvia also tried to evaluate the illegal market of alternative products. Unfortunately, also in this category, there is a lot of gray market. According to estimation of those experts, they find out that some 25% it's illegal also in this segment, like e-cigarettes and some other ones. So, as the main reasons why this smoking-free products are preferred by consumers, it's of course financial aspects because they are more cheaper in the illegal market. Moreover, if you look to some other research done by some other kind of surveys, there's also quite interesting things that we find out that there's some part of consumers buy it from friends. It's quite interesting how they could buy from friends because it's friends should be say at least some legal traders. You can't buy from friends. Yeah? And second, quite interesting, this answer was that they are also trying to buy those products, some alternative products on internet. Despite the fact that tobacco products and alternative products is forbidden to sell in the internet, there used to be some persons could to find the way how they to purchase those products by the internet. That means there is of course illegally they can do it. There's no legal way to buy the products by internet. The main reasons why it's so, of course, it's purchasing power, especially also here in Latvia. If we compare what is the purchasing power here in East Europe and some other countries, we could find that, of course, some kind of purchasing power is quite low, and therefore, to buy these products for consumers here, it's not the same like in Sweden or Finland because we need to find some resources to do it, and therefore it's of course they are more attractive to buy those products in illegal market. Yes, I will maybe skip some slides. Only I would like to also remark that in this year I also was very appreciated that I was opportunity visit to Europol, and that we had some also discussions with them what are the tendencies and what Europol is dealing with those kind of products and situation. And they noticed that the biggest problem still is, let's say, illegal market tobacco products from Russian and Belarusian, because even here in Latvia, because nearby there is two, let's say, factories located to border in Grodno district and Kaliningrad, and they produce cigarettes and some other products which later on unfortunately is illegally imported to Europe, also here in Latvia. However, of course, there used to be different ways how we could combat with such tendencies. One of the main, priorities also Europol is so-called cooperation among some other member states agencies, and the exchange of information and some other kind of let's say knowledge and also dealing and with these issues commonly. If you look to if you compare some distribution of traditional products, alternative products, it should be noticed that unfortunately they are not to distribute the same way as used to be traditional products. Therefore, we should also change our attitude, how we could find this kind of distribution and how we could deal with the illegal market. Why? Because they used to be that they distribute not like tobacco products somewhere hide in this containers and then smuggled in smuggling in Europe, but rather they distribute some through social medias, and there used to be some platforms, and even they used to have some different, specific closed groups or codes how they find the kind of clients for those illegal products, and that's also we need to find and try to change also control mechanisms how to deal with these channels in practice. Anyway, any kind of illegal trade is also let's say should be let's say punished and according to national law about excise duty. If we find illegal products, it doesn't matter. It should be taxed with excise duty, and also some appropriate some kind of penalty should be applied. I mean, there is no. There couldn't be some excuse that we find some illegal, products that is not taxed because they are not licensed and there is no stamps or whatever else. But anyway, those products should be, let's say, confiscated, and some also taxes should be collected from those illegal products too, because according to the law, any kind of, let's say, violence from the law should be treated and should be tax should be paid according to this law. Conclusions from my side, and because of probably there's still some technical problems in we need to harmonize alternative products. At least we need to harmonize excise duty policy in whole Europe, otherwise it's makes some kind of problems on domestic level to fight with such products, I mean illegal trade, and there need to be some common harmonized tax policy set for equally for all those products by setting appropriate, classification. Probably could be used some harmonized systems of customs. And when we increase the excise duty for those alternative products, it should be also evaluated purchasing power. I mean, harmonization doesn't mean that we need to, establish very high tax rate. We need to harmonize the types of products, but probably at the beginning we should set some minimum tax rates which could be adjusted and for any member states. And some increase of excise duty could be considerable, and if they set some kind of minimum rates, it should be could be given some traditional periods for consideration of member states. Yes, probably this was my conclusions. As I mentioned, it's quite important also to cooperate and to exchange of different information as well as researches, and moreover the kind of observation and data collections could be also quite useful to start to also find let's say more to consider about some source product in practice, because currently it's due to the lack of common unified kind of approach to those products. There is not available data, and this is also one of the reasons why it's quite complicated to carry on any kind of research regarding those products. So Yes, recommendation could be that it could be reasonable to harmonize source policy and also to probably to more cooperate regarding some kind of research or some other activities. Okay, thank you. I think it's all from my side. Sorry for some technical problems. I tried to cut some information and probably we could move forward with some other presentations and to come back with some kind of discussions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Maris. Very interesting, many data, many info. So the point is that there's no really a normalization for products, tobacco products that are not labeled as tobacco products according to the EU directive. I will have a question for you, but I will give the floor now to Constantin Plamadeira. He will talk about a case of smuggling in Moldovan. Is a study that he did, so I invite him to share his screen and to present his work. Constantin is a PhD student in the 4th year at the University of Debrecen in Hungary. His research topic is on the effect of rule on sustainable development, and he will present the case of smuggling, cigarette smuggling in EU, case of Moldovan smugglers. Constantin, can you hear us? So you have to switch on the microphone and then share.
Yeah, just I have some technical problems, but if you don't mind, I'm gonna to change the computer because I'm on the cellular phone.
You have a problem in sharing your presentation?
Yeah, just I will leave the Zoom and I will come.
Let's do this. Let's do this. I will do it for you. So, and then you just tell me when I have to turn the slides. So.
Okay then. Okay, perfect.
It's perfect. So let me check. I think that now you will see.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Perfect.
Floor is yours. We listen to you.
Yeah, thank you so much for introduction. I'm gonna to present more. Can you see me as well, right?
Yes,
okay.
We can.
Okay, so actually my topic is cigarette smuggling in European Union. It's the case of Moldova smugglers. My presentation is more practical and it's more based on my experience. Actually, I didn't point out in my description, but I am a former border guard and I used to work at the border police of Moldova. I've been working for more than 2 years. And the main principle actually, let's say, or concepts which are involved in border guard are also applied in customs, but the difference is like persons and products. So I'm actually transformed the principles used in border guard to the customs, almost are the same. So I'm gonna to share more practical aspects of this fight against smuggling. You can go next slide, please. Yeah, so first of all, I'm going to speak about Kano model applied in the illegal supply of cigarettes. As you can see, actually the Kano model is let's say a theorem which is applied for in order to determine the let's say wishes and let's say preferences of the customer. So here I try to analyze the preferences of the, let's say, customers or those who buy the cigarettes from smugglers. As you can see, the most attractive is Rotmans, and the last attractive is Zashima. And as you can see, the scheme tries to be according to the more attractive to demand, and Ashima tries to be somehow must be, because Ashima might be cheaper, and there are, well, I don't know the exact number of smokers, but the smokers actually used to smoke a couple of packages per day. So as an alternative, as I told, this trend must be, is Ashima. Can you move, please? Yeah, so on an example of cigarette smuggling, here is the, let's say, from China, and it's the smuggling of Ashima brand. So actually, Moldova is kind of transit zone to European Union, and most of the cigarettes that are smuggled are transited through the, perhaps you heard about Transnistria, the separatist region of Moldova. And as you can see, the original destination might be China or United Arab Emirates. If I'm speaking about other brands, then they actually, these cigarettes are, let's say, carried by through sea to, let's say, the biggest port, which is most close to, it's close to Moldova is Odessa, and situated in Ukraine, and then through, let's say, other means of transportations, they are carried out through Transnistria, and then Transnistria, because it's a high-risky zone, it's, well, it's, the cigarettes are smuggled pretty much easier, and from this region they are exported illegally to European Union by smuggling. Next, please. So as you can see here, I have the scenario matrix in the of European Union. So we have, suppose that we have restrictive policies and less restrictive policies, and here we have two, let's say, traders and smugglers, even traders who transport legally several types of products might be smugglers as well. And here we have the open doors to the EU with less restrictive policy, and at the same time the profile manager is analyzed. At the same time we have the passive EU. EU means that some policies might not be applied at the highest level, and at the same time we have this so-called illegal trade. Next, please. One of the most important key elements for detecting the smugglers is the risk analysis. So according to the graph, we have 3 steps: visibility, predictability, and action. So regarding visibility, I'm talking about, actually, here I want to make reference to social media, because I'm going to speak about social media. So many smugglers through social media groups are posting announcements regarding cigarettes. So based on profile that it's found in the social media, for example, it's tried to be identified the country of origin of cigarettes, type of cigarettes, like through the picture, the brand I mean, and the final destination. Then the predictability regarding the smuggler or even the carrier, you try to get in touch with this person to get more and more information. And action, then it might be done further investigations. Next, please. And also here the risk analysis. So the category are smugglers. Then we have the content of profile. So the third countries are, most of them are Moldovans. Then we have the cigarettes, origin of cigarettes, and the location, the final destination. and also the number of packages as well. Then the searching and collection of data. It might be very difficult in order to get in touch with the smuggler. I tried a couple of times, but it needs to manipulate the smuggler in order to get more and more information. And of course, development of chains, because in other cases you cannot get in touch with the smuggler, but with the carrier. So through carrier, you can get information about the smuggler, who is that person. And then we have the report, we have the final analysis and conclusions. And of course, based on this, as I pointed out before, the further investigations should be done. Next, please. And here is the analysis of the smuggler capacity. We have the impact and the complexity. It might be low and higher, and of course we have these categories: locations, products, and spread information and control. So as I told before, we have the final destination of the cigarettes, then we have the origin, carrier, and brand of the cigarettes, and then maintaining a discussion with a smuggler or with the carrier in order to get more and more information. So this is the final, let's say, impact. And of course, we have, I mean, you need to be a good psychologist in order to manipulate the smuggler or the carrier in order to get more and more information. Even the phone, well, many times they might get only the phone number without telling the location. I mean, instead of carrier or the smuggler might come the third person. So in this case, also you need to maintain discussion with this person in order to get more and more information. And this might be according to the complexity higher and higher level. Next, please. Of course, we have the relativity of capacity of smugglers. So here we have the time, space, and let's say motion of smugglers. So agents actually is the smuggler, and then the condition how the smuggling is done, and based on these conditions, what kind of action should be done, and the environment where, I mean, the, let's say, final destination, and the let's say the potential customers of the smuggled cigarettes, and how they perceive these let's say smuggled cigarettes. At the same time, based on social media, you can find through the groups announcements where even the potential customers might ask the cheapest smuggled cigarettes, and as well specific brands, and who might carry or who might let's say sell, and the quantity as well. Next, please. And of course, identification of the specific words used by smugglers within social media. In the case of Moldovan smugglers, there is a simple word called candies. So some persons or some smugglers might post pictures as well. Others just, they can write in the shortest way, like, I have candies, this is my phone number, or send me a private message, and that's all. Yeah, so through this word, it might be understandable that the person might sell smuggled cigarettes. And of course, besides this, many persons might have, let's say, strange names on Facebook, for example. I mean, well, even not names that are common for our nation as well. Next, please. And finally, as a conclusion, assessment on capacity of law enforcement, based on, let's say, on my experience, based on other experiences that I heard. So I tried to divide the gap in action. So regarding the gap, as I can say that there is a lack of risk management methods. And here the machine learning method is missing. Actually, also like an experiment, I started doing a research on this risk management method using machine learning algorithm in order to identify illegal migrants, but at the same time, it might be used also for identification of smuggling products. And it's the machine learning algorithm is like the decisional tree. It's also tried to calculate the risk on collected information. Then, as I pointed out before, the lack of psychological skills. This means that law enforcement officers should be more and more trained based on these skills in order to get better skills in the field of psychology, in order to manipulate the potential smuggler or even the carrier, in order to get more and more and more information, even to meet with physically, I mean, in person with the person. But at the same time, it should be mentioned that it should be done within a couple of days, not in a couple of months. So this is the problem. And of course, lack of technical skills. Like, of course, I'm talking about basic hacking, because here in basic hacking, I can point out about social engineering in order to get information of the social media profile. I mean, the phone number, the, let's say, email or other useful information, in order to investigate further the smuggler. And at the same time, OSINT, or how it's called, the open source intelligence, the collection of information from open sources. I'm not talking about just, let's say, social media profiles, but as well, if there might be other information on, let's say, announcements regarding transportation, or well, it might be a lot. And regarding the action, it should be building capacity. I mean, the skills, new skills like basic hacking, or even improvement in the field of open source intelligence, and as well as as well as the improvement of psychological skills, and at the same time, a stronger network among authorities. I mean, there should be more a stronger cooperation among authorities, even for let's say, a small illegal activity, not with a bigger, with implication of a small amount of smugglers, not at least, so how we used to see within reports, or even to read that the couple, for example, Europolins, in cooperation with some local from local or national law enforcement authorities, try to capture a group of 50 or 60 smugglers. Not because even one smuggler can damage the economy of the country, or even of the community. Well, this is all that I wanted to share. If you have critics, comments, I don't know, questions, I would be happy to hear. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Konstantin. Thank you, Maris. Now it's time for question. We'll be a bit late, but if I have a question for both of you. But first of all, I leave the floor to the other attendants if they have any question to address to our speaker. So I'm looking forward to hear from you.
Yeah, hello, Konstantin. I have a question for you. It's about the use of social media data. I saw in a slide that you were using this type of data for predictive analysis. And I was wondering, because when you use social media data, usually you look kind of backward, in the sense that you use data that already existed. So if you want to use it for predictive analysis or to help investigations, do you mean like incorporating like live data, like so that it's more powerful to help investigators?
Yeah, of course. I think, yeah, because first of all, from my experience, I try to use the keywords in order to identify. Then, if there is a lack of information of social media,
You click on
from another person, or even let's say there is a lack of information, I try to use at the highest capacity without, let's say, hacking the all information that I can collect. In otherwise, as I told you in my previous slide, there should be like kind of basic hacking skills.
Yeah.
There might be. Yeah, because otherwise you cannot find the, let's say, phone number even without asking, or even the email, because even through email you can find the a potential phone number as well.
Yeah, sure. And I was wondering how this type of method works. Like, do they work well, or?
From my experience, sometimes it might work, sometimes not. It depends on the social media profile. Take in consideration, as an example, the Facebook profile. Of course, many smugglers will not share their, let's say, basic information. However, through this, let's say, function, forgot the password, you can find. But at the same time, in order to reveal those thoughts, you need to use hacking.
Yeah.
So this is other cases, just to get in touch with the smuggler.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Lucas. Nicolina, do you have any question for Maris or Konstantin? Okay, if not, I have a question for Maris and one for Konstantin. So Maris, there was a EU tobacco product directive, and there was an agreement there. There is usually quite challenging in including or excluding the heated tobacco in the classification of tobacco products. So in terms of policy, what was your perception about why they are still hesitating, they are not taking action to harmonizing the legislation in terms of excise, and there is so huge variance at EU level about this specific product? So that's my question.
Yes, thank you. Very good question. Yes, this is really also my concerns. Yeah, I mean, on international level, if you're talking from the side of health policy, tobacco convention, some other ones, they are more, let's say, straight and clear policies that we need to, combat with this problem in any cases, also with new products, alternative products. While if we go back to Europe, there is another policy. We are talking about tax policy, and it used to be that the council should adopt some measures how to deal with this on the council level by adopting some tax policy for those products. However, there's still kind of discussions, and they can't find some compromise how they should tax those products. They still postpone some kind of political decisions, and moreover, they still, let's say, can't find some compromise what exactly product should be included in this new tobacco excise product directive. I mean, because there are some member states where this issues is not so actual. I mean, they don't care at all. Even they do not tax those products, new products, with some excise duty. And why? Because the market still is developing in those countries, and they do not treat like big issues. While in Latvia, of course, we have small market, and any kind of such a product which is harmful for health, we treat quite sensitive, and we used to be, let's say, quite proactive. We say, no, we need to tax even more some products. Even, we have some national excise duty on coffee. I don't know why it's let's say, bad for health, but it's traditional. And moreover, we have some excise duty on soft drinks, specifically, which is flavored and some sugar, some additive. And we are more, let's say, flexible and to these new products, and therefore we have already enforced those also tax policy measurements for these new alternatives. While it's not harmonized in EU, it's of course it's our problem how we should deal with control measurements and some other ones. That's why it's problem for us, because it's even we are talking, let's harmonize. We do not need to increase some minimum duty, but let's at least put those products in this list of harmonized products. Example, like wine, we do have some excise duty on wine, while in some other member states, as I know, they tax zero wine because it's used to be, traditions and so forth. However, this wine is included in this harmonized products, and that's good. I mean, if there's some kind of wine sent from Spain to Latvia, at least we get some information, and we certainly will get some kind of also kind of possibility to tax with the next national excise duties this wine. While some other products, there's not such a kind of possibilities, and that's why we are facing this problem of controls. At least we are certainly we had some also here some local discussions with local authorities, tax authorities, and Ministry of Finance, and we express that the Ministry of Finance should be more active and should propose on EU level to deal with this, and to at least to have some incentive to harmonize those kind of products. But so far, I think it's the main issue that there is no, let's say, political will, or they do not treat it's like priority. Maybe there are other issues that they would like to discuss and solve rather than those alternative products. It's political.
Okay. Yeah, they probably say they want to be still the market is not mature. They were looking at how the market evolves. It was a small niche compared to the biggest tobacco, so they wanted to be prudent and let the state regulate the problem like now. The question for Konstantin, the last question, how is the let's say smuggling market organized, in the sense that you, according to what you said, there are small groups that are smuggling the border, and then they deliver to other groups that are in charge of delivered to different EU markets. So at least from what I can assume. So what is your insight about it? And if there are there big players, or there are many small players?
Yeah, there are also big players with the implication of some let's say official hands of the law enforcement structures. Because look, even now I left my previous job, but according to the sources that I collected within the Telegram, the former head of border police was actively involved in the smuggling of cigarettes.
So
I'm
we
not
have
sure.
corruption. We have cases. I mean, small groups that try to smuggle without the power to leverage using corruption.
So yeah, this is the first one. I mean, when the official, let's say, heads of the law enforcement agencies are involved directly through tax, let's say, bribe collection. As I told you before, that I used to read some news within through several Telegram channels. I'm not sure if it's correctly, because there are many opinions, but at the same time, there are also, let's say, small groups, and it also depends from country to country, because I tried to also to do a case study for one of my lessons in the last year at my university, and I tried to show to my professor how it works. And in that case that I presented, I got in touch with a smuggler who carried the cigarettes from Poland to France. They carry from Belgium to France as well. And there might be small illegal factories that produce. You know that the Schengen zone, and this is one of the, let's say, chance to transport without any problems.
Once you are inside the EU, it's easier to
yeah, that's right.
move,
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
That's why the problem for Poland, probably there is also illicit wines from Kaliningrad that are and then
that's right,
redistributed all over Europe. Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. It was very interesting. Thank you, Maris. Thank you, Konstantin, for your presentation. So I'm looking forward to meet you again in new webinars that we are setting up. So now we are and declare the session ended, and I wish you a good afternoon, and thank you, and best wishes also for the incoming holidays of the end of the year. So thank you very much. And
thank you
for giving this opportunity.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.